Hey YouTube, today we're going to be looking at a couple rifles, and the subject for today is going to be whether lever action rifles are outdated. And what we have here in front of us, we have two of the most iconic lever action rifles that's ever been produced, and I'm going to let you know before I get started that neither one of these rifles are loaded, and as I pick them up I will show you that they are clear to make this video. So what's the subject for today is whether lever action rifles are outdated. So the lever action rifle is basically a rifle that has a lever on the bottom of it around the trigger guard that actually ejects the spent shell out of it and loads a new shell into the chamber. And it does it by a lever. Now, why was the lever action rifle actually developed? Well, it was developed to make shooting more efficient. The faster you can shoot, the more efficient it is. And a lot of people think that these two rifles here, which is a Winchester 94 here on the bottom and a Marlin 39A here on top, a lot of people think these two companies are the originators of the lever action rifle, and they would be wrong. The lever action rifle was actually designed in the 1860s by Henry Rifles. They were the first ones to make an efficient lever action rifle out on the market, and they were also used in the Civil War. So a lot of people that look down upon things like quote unquote assault rifles. Could a lever action rifle be considered an assault rifle? I suppose it could, since they've been used in warfare over time. So the reason what most people think of an assault rifle is something that's very efficient, can fire very fast, and used in warfare. Well, these rifles meet that criteria. But we're not going to get into the whole assault rifle thing. What we're going to talk about is whether these are outdated or not. So we're going to pick the first one up, and I'm going to show you first that this rifle is not loaded and it's clear, and I'm going to show you some of the features of this. So this is a Winchester Model 94, and this is chambered in 30-30. This is probably one of the most popular lever action rifles that's ever been produced, and it's also probably one of the most popular calibers that's ever been produced. And what are some of the uses of this rifle? Well, a little known fact is they've been stated upon many times that this rifle here, this particular one, has killed more deer than any other rifle, hunting rifle, out on the market. So it's put more food on the table than all these new modern scoped bolt action rifles and pump action rifles and semi-automatic rifles. So this is a very efficient rifle. So the way this thing works is, with the Winchester rifle, you grab your lever here and the whole trigger group drops out of the bottom of it. So it has kind of a two-stage bolt on the inside of it, mechanism that loads the cartridge into it. Now, one of the disadvantages in the modern times is on a Winchester Model 94, if you look, the ejection, it ejects the shell out the top of the rifle. Now, what that's going to do is make things very difficult when it comes to mounting a scope, because the shells actually eject right out the top. Now, do you really need a scope on a lever action rifle? I don't think you really do when you're using it for hunting purposes, because like I stated earlier, these things have killed more deer than any other rifle that's ever been produced. Now, what the scope has given people the ability to do is kill things at further distances, and thus giving the hunter a little bit more of an advantage over the animal that they are hunting. Distance usually gives you the edge on things, and today I'm not a big hunter. I don't hunt or anything like that, but I know that there are rules in hunting where they limit the amount of ammunition that can go in a gun or anything to give the animal a little bit of a chance and all that. And I believe that the scope thing could probably you can make the same argument for it. So do you really need a scope on a hunting rifle? I would say probably not. If the animal's so far away that you need a high magnification scope, is it really a fair fight? Have you really done anything? It's like, taking out a car with a nuclear warhead. It's really easy to do, but is it really a fair fight? But the Winchester 94 They're the ones that developed the 3030 cartridge. It was originally called the WCF, 30 WCF, Winchester Centerfire cartridge, 30 Winchester Centerfire. And it's been a great round. It's been a great hunting round. And all that kind of stuff. Now the one on top here is a really neat one. This is a Marlin. This is a 39A, and this one's chambered in 22. This will shoot 22 long rifle, 22 long, 22 shorts, all that kind of stuff. And this is probably the second most popular kind of caliber to have in a lever action rifle. Now this rifle here is the longest running 22 rifle that's ever been produced. I mean, this thing ran for probably 100 years or so, and almost everybody has fired one of these things, some type of 22 long rifle lever action gun. And one of the things about a lever action gun that I really like about them is how reliable they are. Usually you don't have problems with a lever action rifle. You don't have any kind of complicated mechanisms. You don't have, like, if you were to take like that Marlin 39A there on top, and you were to compare it to like a Ruger 1022, everybody that's ever fired a Ruger 1022 has had problems with feeding. 22 long rifle is a pretty unreliable rimfire cartridge, and usually when you couple that together with semi-automatics, who over time has been known to be inefficient at times and unreliable, you start running into problems. Well, you're never going to have a problem with a lever action rifle. It's sort of like the revolver of the rifle world. You know, it's just almost 100% reliable all the time. Now, the Marlin 39A there on top was made in the 1940s, and the Winchester here was made in the 1970s. So they're not, in the collector's world, they're not the most ideal ones, the most sought after ones, but they're very good examples of lever action rifles, and it's two of the most popular ones. The reason I chose these is most popular lever guns are usually 30-30s and 22s. That's what everybody has. I know that people get into these big bore ones, but mostly everybody that has a lever gun has a 30-30 and a 22. That's usually what they choose, and these happen to be my two examples of them. Now, the Marlin here on top, this is probably in my top 3 of firearms that I own because it's sentimental value to me. It was one of the first firearms that I've ever owned, and I don't ever plan on getting rid of it. The 30-30 here on the bottom of the Winchester, I'm just a big Winchester guy, and I've always wanted a Winchester 30-30. I don't care about what year it was made or anything like that, and it's a pretty fine example of it. So, hunting, deer hunting and stuff like that, if that's what you're into, this is a great rifle to have. You know, I don't see how anybody couldn't hunt at 100 yards or so with a rifle without a scope on it. Now, there are ways to mount scopes on a Winchester top eject 30-30, but you have to kind of put the scope over to the side. You have to have a certain kind of mount that mounts it over to the side, so you can use a scope on it if that's what you're into. But most people choose, when they do the Winchester rifle, just to shoot with iron sights. You know, go old school and use your iron sights. Now, as far as the Marlin here on top, the 39A, target shooting, you know, killing small game, squirrels, rabbits, and stuff like that, it works out perfectly. And a little known fact about the little Marlin 39A, Annie Oakley used to use Marlin 39A in her competitions, and she was one of the greatest sharpshooters of all time. So, very accurate gun, very efficient gun. But when people say that lever guns are outdated, well, there are more efficient things out on the market with technology these days, but I wouldn't exactly call these outdated because they will still do the job that they were meant to do, and people do enjoy them. They're very reliable, very accurate, and very fun to shoot. But anyway, folks, let me know what y'all think about lever action rifles and whether you think they're outdated or not. I personally do not, but that is just my opinion, and my opinion is not the law of the land. Thank you very much for watching my video today, and you folks have a great day.